In 1994, I founded an African bead museum, Bead African Bead Museum. And the goal was to exhibit the history as it relates to African beads. I had collected beads for about 15 years, and what occurred to me is that some of these items I had, the general public would never see them because the nature of a collection is not to say, I have this collection, come in and look at it. So I wanted these things to be seen especially by African children and European children also. Most of Africa, before it was cut up into these 52 countries, they all had beads as the central part of the culture. The beads was used to communicate specific information. They were used for initiation, rites of passage. You could determine status. There were beads that was meant for only royalties or members of the royal family to wear. Beads were given to young ladies to let everyone know that they were being initiated, likewise with men. In fact, from age 3 on, every 3 years was marked by the use of beads. But what fascinated me more so than anything was this concept of these beads being magic and medicine. These beads here are from the African trade period. These beads date back to the 1500s. They are the oldest color of red. They're called green heart because the center of these beads is green. These are the oldest beads that were brought into Africa out of the European countries. But Mali, Mesopotamia, Morocco, and Egypt also had beads, and their beads were known for the ability of protecting you against the evil eye. These are eye beads, and they would protect the wearer, mainly from someone saying something that would spoil your name or hurt your credibility, because your word was the most powerful thing you had. You didn't have credit, you had your word. So the eye beads would protect you from the unknown and also protect your word. These beads here are about 800 years old. Okay, why don't we take a trip outside to see our outside installation, which covers a whole city block, and it's an extension of the Bead Museum. In order for us to have a place to for the community to come together in a garden, we have a stage out there, and on this stage, the people in the community can use it for free. Behind the stage is the first installation we built, which is called Iron Teaching Rocks How to Rust. It's a metaphor that deals with the relationship between Africans and Europeans over the last 500 years. One day I was out there, I picked up a piece of concrete slab that had an iron rod protruding out of it. And that iron rod had stained the brick. So I said, oh, iron teaching rocks how to rust. So that began the genesis of the installation out there, which is a very serious part of our history that we can't really put into history. We try to keep it alive and attach personal events to it. So, but history is supposed to teach you, not to keep you all upset and angry and stressed out. In the eyes of the Nkisi, they are mirrors. In the abdomen, they are mirrors. So the mirrors reflect negative energy. So if you're trying to do harm to anything out here, you're going to see an image of yourself and run away. Because most people are good. They don't want to see themselves when they're doing bad deeds. 14 years ago, I didn't know how the community would react to this art. We have a tendency to want things to remain the same. So I put all this other world stuff out here to send people on an imaginary trip for a few minutes, and that's enough energy to carry you a week, just to break out of reality for a little while. The Nkisi, the circle and the dot up top, you probably recognize it from Target. But target copyrighted, but it's an ancient African symbol that represents all of those who came before us, our ancestors. Kind of simple the way symbolism just simplifies stuff. All the dots and things that you see out there, that represents all the children. So you are always sandwiched between those who came before you and those you're preparing to leave this place for. Whatever I say to you about these beads, you will not be able to erase that and you won't forget it, because that bead would act as a trigger to remind you of this day and what occurred here this day.